The first time I saw that disgusting, overflowing trash bin sitting in my driveway, I honestly thought it was some kind of mistake until I checked my security camera and saw the neighbors across the street grinning while they rolled it over to my house like it was my problem now. That's when I decided if they wanted to play garbage games, I could play too. If you've ever had neighbors who thought basic respect didn't apply to them, hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, comment your worst neighbor story, and stick around because this revenge was petty, simple, and unbelievably satisfying. So, I own a pretty quiet house in a decent neighborhood. Nothing fancy, but peaceful. Most people keep to themselves, lawns are trimmed, trash gets put out on time, and nobody causes problems. At least, that's how it used to be. A few months ago, the small rental house directly across from me got new tenants. Young group. Early 20s maybe, the kind of people who somehow always had 6 cars for a 2-bedroom house. I'm not exaggerating either. Every single day their driveway looked like a used car lot. Cars angled sideways, blocking sidewalks, music blasting at random hours, people constantly coming and going. You could tell immediately this wasn't a quiet young professional's situation. It was chaos. Now normally, I mind my business. I'm not one of those neighbors peeking through blinds all day looking for reasons to complain. If your music is loud once in a while, fine, friends over, whatever. But these people had this weird talent for making their problems become everyone else's problems, and the trash situation was the worst part. Every week, their bins were overflowing. Pizza boxes hanging out, trash bags piled on top, loose garbage blowing into other yards whenever the wind picked up. Meanwhile, my wife and I were careful about ours because our city charges extra for additional pickups. That's important. If there are extra bins or overflow trash attached to your pickup, you can get hit with additional charges. Not huge amounts, but enough to annoy you. So every pickup night, I'd roll our 2 bins neatly to the edge of our driveway. Same spot every time. Lid closed. Organized. Simple. One evening, I walked outside before bed just to double check everything because the wind was picking up. That's when I froze. There was a 3rd bin jam directly between ours, and this thing was disgusting. The lid wouldn't even shut. Trash was spilling out the sides. Some mystery liquid had leaked down onto the pavement. It smelled like spoiled food baking in summer heat. For a second, I genuinely wondered if the city accidentally dropped off a replacement bin or something. Then I noticed it didn't match ours. Different number, different scratches, different color fade. My stomach tightened. Immediately, I looked across the street. Their driveway was missing a bin. You know that feeling when someone insults your intelligence so blatantly it almost feels personal? That's what this felt like, because they didn't even try to hide it. They literally rolled their overflowing garbage into my driveway hoping the trash collectors would assume it belonged to me, meaning I'd either get charged for it or deal with it myself. I stood there staring at that nasty bin while anger slowly started heating up in my chest. Not explosive anger, the worst kind, the quiet kind, the kind where your brain starts becoming very, very creative. I went inside, opened my security app, and pulled up the cameras, and there they were, 2 of them laughing while dragging the bin across the street like raccoons with a shopping cart. One guy even looked toward my house before shoving it perfectly between my bins. They knew exactly what they were doing. That's what irritated me most, not the trash, the disrespect, because there's something deeply annoying about people deciding your kindness means weakness. I remember sitting there replaying the footage over and over while thinking, so this is the game now? Fine, but if we're playing games, I'm going to enjoy myself. At first, I considered rolling the bin back over there immediately, but honestly, that felt boring, predictable. They'd probably laugh about it. I wanted something that would confuse them, something harmless, but unforgettable. Then the idea hit me. A local park about half a mile away had public trash collection near the parking lot. Big city dumpsters, maintenance crews everywhere, and suddenly I started smiling. Around midnight, when the street was quiet, I walked outside. The air smelled like rain and hot pavement. Street lights buzzed softly overhead. Their house was dark except for one blue TV glow through the window. Perfect. I grabbed the nasty overflowing bin and started rolling it down the sidewalk. And let me tell you, have you ever pushed an overloaded trash bin uphill at midnight while praying nobody sees you? Because it sounds easier than it is, every bump made awful crunching noises inside the container. Something wet shifted around. At one point, I'm pretty sure leaked soda splashed onto my shoe. I almost gave up twice, but the entire time, all I could picture was them waking up confused, and somehow that gave me strength. By the time I reached the park, I was sweaty, tired, and trying not to gag from the smell, I tucked the bin near the public disposal area where it blended in with the maintenance containers. Then I walked home feeling weirdly victorious. Not because I'd done something huge, but because I'd solved the problem without touching their property aggressively, arguing, or escalating things into neighbor warfare. I simply relocated their problem. Now here's where it gets beautiful. I woke up ridiculously early the next morning because I wanted to see what happened, and sure enough, garbage trucks came through the neighborhood right on schedule. They emptied my 2 bins, but theirs gone. Apparently the city workers at the park assumed it belonged there and emptied it too, meaning those idiots accidentally got a free trash pickup at a completely different location. And the best part, by afternoon, I noticed fresh garbage already piled inside it again. So now their bin was sitting at a random park, half full of new trash, nowhere near their house. Meanwhile, across the street, pure confusion. I watched one guy walk up and down their driveway twice, looking around. Another checked beside the garage. One girl actually walked halfway down the block, scanning the street like the bin had somehow wandered off on its own, and I'm sitting inside my living room, drinking coffee, trying not to laugh loud enough for them to hear me. The confusion lasted days. That's what made it incredible, because they couldn't exactly call the city and say, "Hey, we illegally dumped our trash into someone else's driveway and now our bin disappeared." Nope, they just had to live with the mystery. Eventually, I think they figured someone in the neighborhood moved it, but they never confronted me, probably because deep down they knew exactly why it happened. And interestingly enough, the trash problems stopped after that. No more overflowing bins shoved into other yards. No more loose garbage. No more nonsense. It's funny how quickly people rediscover basic manners once their actions inconvenience them personally. What really stuck with me though wasn't the revenge itself. It was realizing how often people push boundaries just to see what they can get away with. Most of the time, they expect nobody to challenge them. They assume decent people will stay quiet to avoid drama, and honestly, usually they're right, but every once in a while, someone quietly reminds them that actions have consequences, even if those consequences arrive in the form of a mysteriously missing garbage bin. And to this day, every time trash pickup morning rolls around, I still glance across the street and smile a little, because somewhere out there's probably a city worker who still wonders why a random residential garbage bin appeared at a park overnight. And honestly, that makes the entire thing even funnier. If you enjoyed this story, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more revenge stories where karma shows up right on time. And tell me in the comments what's the pettiest but most satisfying revenge you've ever seen someone pull off. Trust me, the best revenge stories are always the simple ones.